And today we're reacting to Something Is Wrong with The Rock. What happened? Have you noticed that in any movie that The Rock is in, he plays The Rock? Like, he don't have like there's not a role that he plays where it's like, oh, but he did. No, when you see a Rock with The Rock in a movie, he's playing The Rock every single time. This kind of crazy, but it's also kind of iconic when you think about it. That being said, put to the shoot every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 or 6 p.m. Let roll.
Him had changed. Now in his 50s, when Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, turned up at the Venice Festival, you just couldn't ignore how the physique that defined him had changed. Now in his 50s,
I mean, I'm about to say, you're a 50-year-old man. He's supposed to be swole as hell still.
maybe he's finally hit the wall where maintaining a superhuman body was becoming dangerous. Especially since he recently announced publicly that he was suffering from heart problems that would see him take medication for the rest of his life. But this still made people think that for years this was someone who sold themselves as the ultimate example of what hard work and dedication could achieve. He's the highest paid actor in Hollywood for a reason. He's the superhuman
The highest paid actor in Hollywood. By playing The Rock. Not by he capturing a role, no, playing The Rock.
Indestructible, hardworking jack guy. His social media was filled with 4 AM workout videos and inspirational messages about earning success through sweat and sacrifice, all just through natural hard work and determination. But if his body wasn't entirely natural and the recent changes suggested it might not have been, what does that then say about the authenticity he'd built his entire career on? When you look closer, it feels more like a visible sign of something deeper, darker, and longer term. For anyone who'd been paying close attention over the past decade, there has been mounting evidence that Hollywood's most beloved star wasn't quite what he seemed. His absolute perfect image is starting to crack. Small inconsistencies, moments where the mask slipped, behavior that didn't match the humble, hardworking image he'd worked so hard to create. The thing that made him
Behavior? What has he been doing?
the richest actor in Hollywood. Which is why the story of Johnson's downfall isn't really about one scandal or controversy. It's about authenticity, crumbling under the weight of fame and the inevitable collapse of a man who forgot he was human and not just merchandise. How even the most successful in Hollywood are never truly free. We could first see this back on Instagram in 2016, when Dwayne Johnson was filming the final week of The Fate of the Furious when he decided to blow up his reputation with a single social media post. Fans expecting the usual wholesomeness, maybe some touching words about Paul Walker, perhaps a behind the scenes photo with the crew, instead found something else entirely. It was a call out post which was public and scathing of his unnamed colleagues. Johnson was going after his male co-stars, calling them unprofessional candy asses for the world to see.
Oh my gosh. What happened on set? You know how mad you gotta be? I haven't seen this before. You know how mad you gotta be at the cast and all that to go online and say, yeah, this is my last time fucking with these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, the directors, and they cool, but my male co-stars, bro, they... What?
The target later emerged was Vin Diesel, the franchise's lead and producer. While fans didn't outright turn against him, it definitely raised some eyebrows. It might have just been a slip-up, a moment of misguided frustration. After all, Johnson was just as human as everyone else. He was allowed to make a mistake. However, it would soon prove to be the catalyst behind the exposure of his ego, damaging an image he started building in the early 2000s. You see, Johnson as The Rock transcended the bad guy image of many professional wrestlers, going on to become the most famous, most liked member of the sport, and then achieving legitimate movie stardom only to become the most famous actor in Hollywood. And he seemed to do all of this without ever losing his authenticity. Where other wrestler turned actors felt like novelty acts, he felt a little more genuine, kind of like an anti-celebrity celebrity. Funny and down-to-earth, self-depreciating Instagram posts, surprise visits to fans, and lots of charity work. When scandal after scandal destroyed other stars' reputations, which is practically a Hollywood ritual at this point, Johnson always remained pretty untouchable. A 6'5" teddy bear who happened to be the hardest working man in the industry. For over a decade, his persona worked flawlessly. Johnson wasn't just starring in blockbuster movies, he was reviving entire franchises and making hundreds of millions for doing so.
He had he was having a mean run. I forget what years this was, but from the Kevin Hart, the big little contradiction in the movies, and then some of the, like you said, the Fast and Furious joints, he just going stupid for a minute.
The Furious series was running on...
And then he had that energy drink. Y'all remember that? I know y'all have seen it before. He got that energy drink.
Until he joined in Fast 5. The Jumanji reboot succeeded because audiences trusted him to respect their childhood memories while updating them for a new generation. He was always the safe choice. He'd never say anything bad in public.
Yeah.
He was always a picture-perfect guy, with the cleanest views on anything, saying whatever he was supposed to say. He was someone that star producers could bet their careers on. But somewhere along the way, his humble act started feeling like exactly that, an act. It hit particularly hard with Johnson because it's something he tried to fight so hard against, which is what makes his story a pretty unique one among Hollywood's elite movie stars. You see, that Instagram post we mentioned about his Fast and Furious co-stars later turned out to be part of a wider issue with Johnson's conduct off camera, and his authenticity would become much harder for anyone to defend. In 2019, reports emerged about Johnson's new no-lose clause, a contractual guarantee that his characters would never appear weak on screen.
Yo, that's hard as hell. That's dope. Hey, that's dope. Nah, when y'all get on camera, bruh, my character don't lose fights. I don't lose. It's not me. I'm Dwayne The Rock Johnson, the highest paid motherfucker. You think I'm gonna lose on camera? That's kind of hard. It's very arrogant, you feel me, and egotistical, but it's hard though.
Jason Statham and some other well-known action stars had similar protections, but you're contrasting someone who's
Yeah, my boy Jason Statham, man, shout out to him. Facts. I'm not trying to see him lose either. That's the guy.
always been typecast as a hard man with someone who championed humbleness and humility. And people did start noticing how Johnson would take not wanting to lose and literally anything to another level. Check out this viral clip where he gets awkward about losing a game of rock, paper, scissors.
We do rock, paper, scissors?
Yes.
Rock, paper, scissors. I won!
Well, no,
Do
yeah,
you
see,
want-
it's supposed to be rock, paper, scissors, go.
Oh, what?
This is
No,
cheat. What kind of
No,
is
sorry, I
this?
think I...
When you look at
Wait, what kind of what? Bitch ass. What did he say? What the? He say bitch ass? What kind of bitch ass is this? Oh, bro, it's just rock, paper, scissors. Now he's right. It is rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors. No, they're not. That's not how we do that. You know what I'm saying? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Y'all tell me how it's supposed to be played in the comments. It's definitely rock, paper, scissors, shoot, though.
when you look at Johnson's recent filmography through this lens, and it really living in
Is it that serious, though? Is it that serious if he didn't try In-N-Out or not? If he made it, this is my first time trying In-N-Out, y'all. Even though he did, is that like that bad? Like that's that big of a? Like, people are disappointed. Yo, he's lying. He never really even had In-N-Out. Is that what we're doing?
California aside,
I'm just
and the
asking.
chances that he'd randomly have this burger, we can at least prove that he'd had it 3 times. As fans were able to pull up posts from 2017 where Johnson had claimed the exact same thing, even calling himself In-N-Out's newest and biggest fan. Johnson later amended the post saying, "Thanks to the fans who reminded me that I went to In-N-Out years ago and totally forgot about it." Reddit then exploded with one viral post titled "Dwayne The Rock Johnson lies about eating at In-N-Out for the first time." This guy was so fake during the podcast, and now this, I'm convinced that everything he says is a bunch of BS. The top comment says a lot. Dude, he's basically a walking billboard. He's the
Am I the only one, guys? That's just like, is it that serious?
type of entertainer that is selling a persona.
A
not
Reddit
himself.
post
There
about
should
it?
be
This
no
warranted a
surprise.
Reddit post?
Sure, it's a very small, very trivial lie, but also so unnecessary. And around that time, people were also
for the
questioning how
money.
someone in their 50s could maintain this sort of physique, especially after Joe Rogan openly speculated about steroid use. This was around the time other celebrities like the Liver King were under the spotlight for lying about roids. Everybody in the fitness industry knows that he's probably taking something, But to this day, despite numerous
Has to be.
accusations, Johnson is adamant that the only time he experimented with roids was when he was 18. Roids in Hollywood aren't actually unheard of, so if an actor were to admit using it, it wouldn't really be the end of the world. In fact, they might even be praised for coming clean. We all know people like Zac Efron and Christian Bale have taken stuff, but arguably Johnson would have looked much better if he were just honest about it.
Yeah, if he just, that's one thing. If he just straight up, like, you over here, you know, fitness guy, man, I do the XYZ, like, you ain't gonna let us know that you do a little bit of trend, man. Just a little bit. Come on, man.
The Rock should come clean right now. He should make a video in response to the Liver King video. I need to talk to you because The Rock's been lying. There's not a fucking chance in hell he's clean.
No.
Not a chance in hell. As big as The Rock is, at 50?
The last few years, he's definitely like turned it up a notch.
At 50.
Yeah.
That's natural, bro.
Yeah, how could you think otherwise?
Eats a lot of sushi.
Yeah.
It's like you can't even get there with HRT.
The only real roadblock in that plan is the fact that Johnson, like the Liver King and others, built an entire aspect of his brand around fitness and nutrition.
Yeah.
If he then came clean, he won't just be admitting that he's not natural, he'll be admitting to willingly deceiving hundreds of millions of people about realistic fitness goals for years. Just eating chicken and rice and working out at 4 AM is enough to look like The Rock, apparently. He's backed himself into such a tight corner that he'll never likely be able to tell the truth about this, and it will take someone or some expose to publicly out him. But
the way he moved, I wouldn't be surprised if he got everybody who's ever sold him any type of roid, anything, or anybody that knows anything about him doing any type of roid offed. I wouldn't be surprised if they're all in the dungeon somewhere rotting, just so that way information don't come out. He won't even want to lose a game of rock, paper, scissors. Think I'm gonna lose that, boy?
before we continue, this video is sponsored by World and
Shout out to you, brother. Get your chicken. I love to see it. What type of game is this? I wouldn't even be able to promo this game. I don't know what the hell going on.
com. The charitable side of Johnson's brand would then also be questioned once he and Oprah put an appeal out for donations after wildfires wreaked havoc in Hawaii in 2023. They called it the People's Fund of Maui, but it didn't hit the notes they wanted it to. It wasn't all Johnson's fault, it was largely just a case of bad timing. Against the backdrop of the pandemic and the cost of living crisis, there was a lot of financial strain on a lot of people. So when they heard two celebrities with hundreds of millions, or in Oprah's case billions to their name, asking for donations and parting with a combined $10 million like it was nothing, many were ready to attack them, especially those in Hawaii who were already suffocating in the most expensive state in America without any real income. Many people demanded to know why they didn't request money from those who could actually spare it, like
It's messed up how Hawaii getting done too with that, bro. If y'all aren't aware, Hawaii is still expensive because so many people, like rich people, are going down there and just kind of making the rest of the land also expensive in their native land, like Hawaii's native land. Now there's certain things that will help, like if you're like I forget what it is, but if you're like true Hawaiian, there's some type of housing that they can get you right with, and that's pretty cheap. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's free, but I think it's cheap. My Hawaiians, y'all can probably let me know. I know I probably got some in here watching, but it messed up. Like they done went through and bought so much and just plot right on their land like that. Kind of
other celebrities. While Johnson later admitted he could have done this better, it became another thing chiseling away at his authentic image.
Launched the fund, there was some backlash that came with launching the fund, and I want to address and acknowledge that backlash right now. And here's what I have to say about that. I get it, and I completely understand, and I could have been better.
The distrust turned into animosity, and it was growing every time he made an appearance, appearances that each looked more scripted than the last. When Johnson did finally appear on the Joe Rogan Experience, it felt like flat, dull PR, designed to take the sting out of the mounting criticisms thrown his way. He'd also hinted at how his image management had been baked into him from You see, DC had been in decline since 2018, with most
that just kind of made me realize why The Rock always plays The Rock, because of what that clause that he has. That's why it feels like that.
movies after Aquaman not making nearly as much as they needed to, with Zack Snyder out after the top like Reddit comments said, not really surprising, he only seems to care about Black Adam vs Superman, not paying any mind to Black Adam's main enemy. Really, it became clear this wasn't about artistic vision.
Yeah.
Johnson was trying to retake over the studio and restructure DC to center around his character. That plan then backfired because Black Adam didn't perform as well as it needed to, despite his claims to the contrary. There was tension behind closed doors too, with Johnson apparently wanting to promote his tequila brand at the premiere despite others feeling it was inappropriate as
Damn, Rock. Dang, Dwayne. Oh my gosh, Dwayne, just chill, man. Just chill, bro. Also, let's promote my tequila. I don't think we should do that, man. I don't think we're gonna do that. What? You know he'd be in there trying to strong arm a motherfucker. What?
the film was rated a PG. When Black Adam did flop, the entire house of cards collapsed. The DCEU practically died from Johnson's desperate attempt to crown himself its king. And this is how Hollywood works when the cameras stop rolling. While we see slick marketing campaigns and friendly press tours, behind the scenes it's often just massive egos fighting for control of billion-dollar franchises. The irony is key. Johnson spent years selling himself as Hollywood's most humble superstar who loved teamwork, but when it all actually mattered, he chose his own personal ambition over everything else. He burned bridges, undermined storylines, and put his own brand ahead of what was best for the franchise. And you might think that after the Black Adam humiliation, Johnson would retreat and rebuild. Instead, he decided to return to WWE, and immediately repeated every mistake that had smashed up his movie career. Now, the setup was perfect for a redemption story. Wrestling thrives on comebacks, and Johnson returning to his roots after that should have been an easy win. But instead of fitting into an existing storyline, he decided to hijack one. At the time, Cody Rhodes had been building toward a championship match against Roman Reigns for over a year. Rhodes had left WWE, proved himself elsewhere, and returned with massive fan support, and was finally getting his shot at the title his father never won. Fans were completely invested in this finish the story narrative. Then Johnson showed up and basically said, "I want the main event spot instead." In a move that stunned even wrestling fans accustomed to his unique politics, Johnson strong-armed his way into the main event, forcing Rhodes to step aside. Fans were understandably not happy. They were particularly
That's ass. That's ass. Oh, I know that's sickening, bro. That's sickening. They pull him in a room like, hey, you're not gonna get that. By the way, we're gonna have The Rock come in. What? I've been working though.
Clearly upset that Johnson was allowed to just show up and force himself into a story as he pleased. Now, not only is the video of the handover between Rhodes and Johnson the most disliked video on WWE's YouTube channel, but Johnson's Instagram following declined massively. For the first time in his career, Johnson was forced to publicly backtrack, returning the spotlight to Rhodes and Reigns.
Oh, really?
I remember calling Nick and Ari and I said, I have this idea. I don't think we should truck through this because the thing that bothers me most is that there is a group of fans, a segment of fans who are upset. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the North Star is, but how about this as an idea? Why don't we go with this incredible storyline, continue to go with it between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. The idea of finishing his story is one that fans have invested in.
Shout out the fans for fighting back on that one, bro. For real. For real. Shout out the fans for fighting back on that one. Real talk. and making him switch up. But the messed up part is, if this didn't get nearly that much backlash and there was just enough, he wouldn't have gave a damn. He wouldn't have gave a damn. And I mean, he don't give a damn. This you can hear, it's about the fans. This is not about Cody Rhodes or the other nigga, what they got going on in their legacy and shit. No, this is about what the fans say. Nah, they ain't rocking with me. I'm losing 5 million followers on Instagram or some shit. Bet I ain't doing it.
Company have invested in that too. Rock and Roman can wait.
Fans actually appreciated this, and it does tell us something about Johnson, about how torn he is between himself as a man and himself as a character. And it's genuinely hard to tell where The Rock ends and Dwayne begins. You can see in the comments in this video, someone says he's out of character. Imagine trying to just be your normal self, only for people to view it as simply being out of character. Another comments he's never looked more Dwayne than he does right there. Truth be told, the damage is piling up big time. He'd shown that even in the world that created him, he couldn't resist putting his ego first. But if you thought his reputation couldn't sink much further, 2024 had one more devastating blow in store. Red One. What was
my gosh. I remember me and my girl were seeing this in the commercial, the previews in the movies. Me and my girl are avid moviegoers. We saw this and we're like, what are they doing? What are they doing? This was just an unnecessary, we not watching movies like this. You know what I'm
Supposed
saying?
to be Johnson's triumphant return to family-friendly blockbusters instead became a masterclass in everything wrong with modern Hollywood. The Christmas action comedy with Johnson as Santa's head of security wasn't just a box office bomb, it was a production nightmare that exposed the toxic behavior lurking beneath Johnson's image. The numbers alone tell a damning story. Red One cost a staggering $250 million to produce, and yet managed to only gross around $185 million worldwide. To put that into perspective, it performed worse than 2017's Baywatch, previously Johnson's most embarrassing commercial failure. But the real scandal wasn't the movie's quality, though critics savaged it with a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I would imagine.
Instead, it was what happened behind the scenes during production. In April 2024, a report from The Wrap revealed the true cost of working with Dwayne Johnson. According to multiple industry insiders, Johnson's unprofessional behavior had single-handedly inflated Red One's budget by $50 million. Whoa. Sources claim Johnson was arriving on average 7 to 8 hours late every single day. Sometimes he simply wouldn't even show up at all, forcing the entire production to shoot around him. Cast and crew members would sit idle for hours, watching costs skyrocket while the star's absence held their timelines hostage. But perhaps the most bizarre revelation was Johnson's bathroom habits. Multiple sources confirmed that rather than using public restrooms like everyone else, Johnson would actually urinate into water bottles and then hand them to production assistants to dispose of.
Oh my god. Bro, what type of rich, I don't give a damn about you shit is that? Here you go, throw this away. Not even the decency to say, okay, I just really got something against public bathrooms. I don't do them. I'm gonna pee in this bottle, and at least I'm gonna throw it away myself. It's like me pissing in a bottle and handing it to one of y'all. Hey, y'all throw this away. You'll be like,
quote, Dwayne truly doesn't give a fuck, one insider told The Wrap. It was an effing disaster. For months, Johnson's team dismissed the reports as slanderous. His representatives claimed the allegations were both ridiculous and false. But in November 2024, during a GQ magazine interview ostensibly meant to rehabilitate his image, Johnson made a stunning admission. Quote, I pee in a bottle, he told the interviewer matter-of-factly. Yeah, that happens. This wasn't The Rock's first pee-related controversy. Back in 2017, he admitted to peeing in a bottle mid-workout.
And I just realized you just saw my big bottle of pee. Look, I go hardcore when I train. I don't have time to go to the bathroom. I find a bottle, I pee in it, and I keep training like a beast.
So fans knew
there's something else deeper lying there. Something else deeper lying there. It's either some type of scarring with bathrooms, going in the bathrooms, maybe he doesn't feel safe, maybe he's just so large that it's hard to kind of navigate in bathrooms sometimes, or it's some type of sexual deviancy. But that doesn't, nah, bro. We in the gym, you at your gym with it. I know the bathroom is not far for you to go in there, get a quick urine in, and come back to go lift, bro. From the bench, you just got you put 225 15 times. Where my bottle at? You just turn around and
he had a history there. Johnson also confirmed that yes, he was frequently late to sets, though he claimed the reports were exaggerated. Yeah, that happens too, he said, but not that amount, by the way. That was a bananas amount. That's crazy, ridiculous. The interview was supposed to be damage control, but it really looked like he was incriminating himself. He now had the press after him on all angles, and other reports about misconduct inevitably started to flood in. For example, in 2018's Rampage, he was reportedly late an average of 4 to 5 hours daily, with one co-star keeping a detailed log of his arrivals. His work ethic was also criticized, which massively dented his hard-working persona, with one insider telling the press it's his absolute refusal to work more than 4 or 5 hours a day, and explaining that it's a control thing. Chris Evans, Johnson's Red One co-star, tried to provide cover, claiming that Johnson's lateness was built into the schedule, but that only served to confirm his unprofessionalism. Here's the thing about Hollywood, it has this weird way of making bad behavior just seem normal. When you're powerful enough, your problems become everyone else's job to manage. The pee bottle incident brings that home in some weird way. When you're powerful enough that people literally handle your waste without question, like some royal groom of the store scenario, when productions worth hundreds of millions of dollars revolve around your schedule, how do you even maintain any connection to reality? When you're one of the most famous men alive, when everyone around you in LA sucks up to you, when everything about you, from your plastic surgery, steroid use, fake teeth, and fake personality is completely strategized to always seem more likable. Johnson's story is just like Will Smith's, who spent decades as Hollywood's golden boy before the now immortalized Oscar night slap, or Ellen DeGeneres, whose Be Kind brand imploded when stories emerged about her toxic workplace behavior. It's always like their personas trying to cover for some deep insecurity. Or someone like Ryan Reynolds, who's built an entire career on seeming relatable and self-aware, and yet industry insiders whisper about controlling behavior and impossible demands hidden behind the charm. Fame just creates this weird bubble where normal rules don't apply, where masks are used to cover for deep insecurities and bad behavior, and eventually the bubble will burst in spectacular fashion. Today, Dwayne exists in a strange liminal space. He's still one of Hollywood's highest paid actors, but his cultural capital is evaporating. It's not that he became a true villain like some in Hollywood, he simply became exactly what he once opposed: a corporate suit masquerading as an authentic person, a rich famous guy who has absolutely no freedom or autonomy. A puppet of Hollywood elites. I mean, you've got to ask, how many truly authentic people even exist in the upper echelons of Hollywood? If not even
I don't think they should do that. Why do we need a live action Moana? Keep it animated.
crushing weight of his own mythology in Hollywood.
Well, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Like the video, sub up, comment up, bitch to the channel. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, and I'm grateful for y'all. We gone.